The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the views of the Tampa Bay Arts and Education Network.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Connecting with Kim here on Tampa Bay Arts and Education Network. I'm your host, Kim Droege, and I'm so glad you joined us today because we have another fabulous episode coming up. And I know you're wondering why I'm dressed the way I am, and I'm going to explain that in a few minutes. So I want to thank my sponsor, the Spring of Tampa Bay, who provides safe spaces and empowering services for survivors of domestic violence and their children. And I can assure you that most of what I'm wearing today actually did come from the Spring. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But I want you, before we begin, to like and follow our Instagram, Connecting with Kim, Instagram, and TBAE, Instagram, Facebook, and X account. So you will know all the latest information about my show, the guest, the broadcast schedule, and of course the on-air wardrobe. And we also want to remind you that you can catch the audio of our show on Sun Radio, 96.3 FM, and on your favorite streaming platform, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3:30 in the afternoon. So you're probably sitting there going, why has she got that garb on? Well, my guest in the chair today, it's in honor of my guest in the chair today, and I'm so glad to welcome this young woman to Connecting with Kim. Her name is LEA Manningham. And she is the founder and the president of Girls of the World. And you're going to learn all about Girls of the World from LEA. But this is in honor of her annual fundraiser. And that in the theme this year happens to be Roaring 20s. And you get to wear sneakers. So what could be better than that? So LEA, welcome to Connecting with Kim.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I've been looking forward to this for so long. I told you that before we went on the air.
Yes.
You're doing great work in the world, and I want the opportunity to feature what you are doing.
Thank you so much.
So I like all my guests to start the same way, sharing as much of their life journey as they feel comfortable with, because you just never know when somebody out there watching and listening shares something in common with you.
Okay.
So take it away.
So I'm LEA Manningham, the founder of Girls of the World, Inc., and how it became, I was a teen mom. I had both parents in my household. However, I knew what mom and dad would not accept and what they would. And I was at that time in my life where it was like I felt the pressure as a teen. And so I didn't have that middle person to speak with or talk to or give me advice. So I winded up being pregnant the first time. And so I always wanted to give back to young girls. Just because someone is having this pregnant as a teen doesn't mean she's all out here sleeping with everybody or anything like that. It's just life happens. And so I wanted to eventually later in life say I wanted to help girls, to have babies, to say, hey, just because you are a teen mom doesn't mean life stops for you. You can still continue to move forward in life, have goals. Again, it may be a little bit slower, however, but you still can be successful in life and achieve your goals.
Are you from this area?
No, so I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. I've moved to Tampa in 2004.
Okay.
Me and my two children, we just left in Cleveland, Ohio. I just wanted better opportunities for me and my children. I had a construction business. I worked at a law firm. I was a certified welder, but I just got to that point in my life where I felt like there was no more growth there for me. So I started working again as a bill collector. And then during training, they said we have multiple offices where you can go on vacation or travel. When you're traveling, you can go there and work. And I was like, maybe I can go move to Florida. I always wanted to be a model. I went to modeling school as well. So I said, this could be the opportunity for me to go to Florida, become a model. Well, not a model, but however, I left Ohio, just packed up and left. And I've been here since 2004. And it's been a blessing since.
LEA, you are so multi-talented. Yeah. I mean, my goodness, you just named off like 10 skills, right, that you possess.
Yes.
Or 10 businesses that you've been involved in. I mean, don't shy away from sharing that, girl, because most people are going to be sitting there going, wow,
Yes.
how'd she find time to do all that? Okay, so you moved to Florida for more opportunity for not only yourself, but for your children,
Yes.
more importantly. What led you, and when did you found Girls of the World?
It was in 2004, actually the year that I moved here. I was in church and the pastor was saying, write your vision down, plain as day, don't share it, just pray about it and fast. So one day I was watching TBN and I seen a pastor come on television, a woman that was very powerful, and I was listening. She was talking about what visions are. And so I got my notebook and paper and I said, okay, I always want to work with senior citizens. I done it. I said, I'll just love them and help them, wherever they need, but with girls. So I just start sitting down like, what would I really do helping these teen girls? And I just started to write. And I wrote it down, and I held on to it. I prayed. And then eventually I showed my mom, and she was like, this is really good. Like, who did this? And I said, me. And she was like, I said, Mom, I wrote this. And so then she was like, well, you need to stick with it, and just, do what you have to do. So I say I worked for another 5 years, and then I just got to that point where I was doing government contracting. And I just felt the pressure because I was doing juvenile detention ministry in the juvenile detention facilities. And I just felt like, Lord, I want to help these kids more, but working a full-time job, I couldn't do but so much. And I just stepped out on faith. And I resigned from my job, but there was a lot going on, so it was the best time for me to resign at that moment. And I started focusing on Girls of the World. I submitted my program to one of the facilities, an all-girls facility in Pasco County, and they wanted my program. But the day of me going to meet the administrator, my car was repossessed. So I told my mom, I ran in the house, I said, Mom, my car's gone. She said, where is it? Let's call the police. I said, no. I said, well, you don't pay your bills, but this is a walk of faith that I'm doing right now. I said, so they came, they repossessed my car, and can I use your car? And then I was selling Avon to try to, make ends meet receiving unemployment. So I went and met the administrator. I said, hey, I'm running late because, and when I got there, she said, why are you here? And I said, well, because this is something that I want to do, and I'm here to do God's work. And so from there, I started doing my program there. The lady that was mentoring me, she said, Leah, if you're serious, I can connect you with someone to do your 501c3 paperwork. So I met with him a month later, big, tall archbishop, and I sat next to him, and he just asked me questions, and he was typing and typing, and he said, I will not charge you. Just give me $150 for ink and paper because it's a lot of paperwork.
It is. People don't realize that. To become a 501c3 is a lot of paperwork. Yeah.
So in 3 weeks, I was approved.
Yeah.
And from there, I just started. So 16 years later, I'm here. A vision.
Lee, I'm sitting here listening to your story, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, this is really God guiding you. I got to believe that, because you have overcome so many obstacles. That other people would have maybe said, oh, that's it, I'm done. I'm not going, this is too hard, and I'm not doing, because it's a labor of love, and you're also suffering at the same time. You're real life things, right? Okay, so we have Girls of the World set up. It's a 501c3. Okay, so help us understand, what does Girls of the World do for girls?
So what we do for girls is we mentor girls, and we teach them all life skills. We prepare them for the workforce, entrepreneurship, trade school, and education. Right now, our junior entrepreneurship, we're just launching October 4th. We're launching our skincare line. So these young ladies is learning from the beginning to the end what it looks like and what it takes to start a business.
What is the age of these young ladies?
These young ladies for the entrepreneurship are from 8th grade to 12th graders.
Okay, so in general, all your programs are focused at 8th graders to 12th graders.
No.
See that?
Yep, we start at the age of 8, and then young adults. Right now, once our girls graduate high school, they go to college. Our graduation rate is 100%. So when they go off to college, they graduate, they still stay with Girls of the World. They come home on the holidays and they come back and give back to the younger girls.
How many girls are there in Girls of the World?
On our roster, we have a total of 174, counting the college girls. And during the week, 120 girls come through our building.
Oh, that is amazing.
Yes.
And where is your building now? I know we talked about this before we went on air, but I think you ought to go through this story because, again, it's another step on that journey
Yes.
that was so pivotal, right?
Yes. We're in Apollo Beach, Florida. We've been there for we just celebrated 3 years. And how that became about, where I was renting a small room from the owner doing tutoring, and I needed a bigger space because where we were doing it was too small. And he gave me the keys and he said, Leah, go check out the space. So I went and checked out the space and it was awesome. And said, okay, how much is this? And I said, I cannot afford it, Jeff. He said, I don't want those keys. He did like that. He said, you continue to do what you do with the girls and you got to figure it out. You just got to work harder. And so that day I reached out to the director of the Chamber of Commerce. I said, Melanie, I said, he will not take the keys back. And she said, well, how much is the rent? I said, and I gave her I said, I cannot afford it. She said, well, let me figure out something. And 2 days later, she said, Leah, someone wants to nominate you for some funding. She said her name is Robin Pan, and she's with 100 Women Who Care of Valencia Lakes.
Yes, she is.
So,
and full disclosure, Robin Pan is a very dear old, well, not old in the sense of she's old, but we've been friends for a long time, and she's the salt of the earth, one of the best people I've ever known in my life.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So we met the next day. We went and we met Robin. Phenomenal woman. I love her. I mean, her style. I said, I want to be like you when I grow up.
I know, she's amazing.
Beautiful energy and just an angel. So we were talking and I shared some stuff about Girls of the World. And then she said, okay, this is a date. This is what you have to do. And so the day we got there, and they picked 3 nonprofits. However, they said this was the very first time there was 5 nonprofits at the event. So when they were picking out the hat, I was like, Girls of the World, Girls of the World. I was the first one that they picked. So I had an opportunity to get up 5 minutes and just spill everything that I do with the girls. And they asked questions. And then even the nonprofits that we were against are some pretty big nonprofits that do amazing things in the community.
Right.
And so they voted and they picked Girls of the World. Those funds allowed us to be able to be in our building for 6 months. And then we were nominated by another organization, and it just kept going and going. And then that's when we started our fundraiser. So I just want to say, Robin Pan, thank you so much for believing in Girls of the World and our vision, because if you wouldn't have nominated us, we would not be in that building today. So thank you so much.
I can't wait to share this with her because we text and talk all the time, and I'm so glad she's getting a shout out, and I appreciate that. And also, we should give a shout out to the gentleman. We talked about it before we went on air. Let's mention them because they also have a fine business that we should all.
So Jeff, Shaughnessy, thank you all so much. Again, you're believing in our vision. You're really taking care of us and allowing us to be able to be in our space to mentor these young ladies. Again, so thank you at the White Oak Cottage for your support all the time. Thank you.
This is a good time if you're just joining us on Connecting with Kim. My guest in the chair is LEA Manningham, who is the founder and the president or CEO. It doesn't matter. Yeah. You're the head of Girls of the World, and we are here chatting about how Girls of the World got started and what Girls of the World does, and sharing that this is a mission, a God-given mission of love, because you face so many obstacles along the way, but then you've had all these wonderful, beautiful partners, some of whom I know, and I'm proud to say that they supported you. So tell me all the things. Actually, tell them all the things that Girls of the World does, besides we just talked about the entrepreneurship program. Tell me what else.
So Girls of the World, we teach young ladies sewing. We have a sewing club. We do a book club with the young ladies to help them enhance their reading skills. On Wednesday, we do Bible study, and the Bible study is not a religious class. We just we're studying the women of the Bible and comparing what they went through back in the day.
Well, it's spiritual.
Exactly.
And it doesn't have to, but I mean, these women, some of the women in the Bible went through a lot, right?
A lot.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot. We also do crocheting. On Fridays, we do meet and greet. It's like a meet and greet type of things where new girls come and we just do arts and crafts and we just have those conversations. We do sexual education, financial literacy, communication skills. We prepare them for the workforce. So we teach them how to completely fill out a job application, how to create a resume. I teach them how to dress for the interviews. And I say, I don't care if you go to McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, you should have on a black blazer or a white blouse and some black or blue dress pants or skirts. And we do mock interviews. So Amazon come in and do mock interviews with our young ladies.
Oh,
and
cool.
Chick-fil-A come and teach them what a successful interview looks like. We do parenting skills. And what the parenting skills is just pretty much saying, hey, Miss Leah was a teen mom. You don't want to go that route. But what they get out of this program is that my mom is not perfect. My mom she can only give me what was given to her, and she's doing her best. There's no book to parenting.
No, they don't come with instructions.
Exactly.
Those babies kind of pop out and there they are,
So they understand that, and it helps them with their relationship with their mothers, just knowing that she's a mom, she loves me at the end of the day, and how we can work together and how I can be patient with my mother. Sexual education. So when it comes to sexual education, we separate them. 8 to 12, they learn about the different stages of puberty and how their body changes. And the older girls learn about sexual education.
Right.
And I always take that back to my life story when it comes to me, not having that person to talk to and feeling the pressure from the young man, having sex, and then after I became a teen mom, it's like, okay, now I want to be an adult because I'm a mom. However, not knowing in my situation, I was running into the arms of an abusive young man. So at the age of 17, I also dealt with domestic violence.
Oh, goodness.
For 8 years.
Oh, goodness.
That part of the program I really, really stress with my young ladies is because we want to be in these relationships. We want to be an adult. However, you don't know what arms you're running into.
Right.
So I'm that roadblock, like, hey, let me talk to Ms. Leah. Hold on. Let me step back and regroup myself. And just from the natural feelings that we have, going through puberty and teen.
Well, you've walked the road already.
Yes, ma'am.
And so everything you're sharing with them is fact. It's reality.
Yes.
You went through it. You survived it, more importantly. Do these girls come from the local community, or where do these girls come from?
So they do come from the local community. I have young ladies come as far as Wesley Chapel.
Really?
To Waimama.
Okay.
Apollo Beach, Riverview, Brandon, all over. But the furthest is right now is Wesley Chapel.
Wow. And are these girls coming from broken homes, single family homes? I mean, give me a feel for, because you mentioned the parenting thing. So it's like, what kind of homes are they coming from?
So my young ladies right now are coming from all areas.
Okay.
Single parent homes, 2-parent homes, foster care.
Okay.
And homes where the grandparents are taking care of them.
Okay.
So there's a mixture of young ladies right now.
That's our society now, right?
Yes.
I mean, our society is that whole mom, dad, and the 2 kids and the little white house and the picket fence. No, that's not reality anymore. We have blended families. We have all kinds of families,
Yes.
right? And I love it that you're. I love this. I just love this. I mean, before we went on the air, I always research every organization and guest that comes on, but it really doesn't matter what I know about what they do. It's a matter of what you're going to take away from it and understand. And you mentioned before we went on air, I want to cover this too. You were telling me that you teach the girls how to dine. How to. So let's talk about that, because I thought that's really important.
So with our cooking and etiquette, we do like little small meals in the office where we, cook on hot plates. My husband would say, "You don't have a kitchen." I said, "Well, it's a room with a microwave and a refrigerator, and this is just we're calling it,
Right.
It's a vision right now.
Right.
But we have hot plates and everything, and it's just showing young ladies again some of us come from these big homes. We don't know what hot plates are, you know. These, you know, just cooking on these different tools that we have. So we do the cooking class on there, rice cookers, microwaves, everything. But they're learning just to put something together, even dessert. And then we set the table. So I teach the young ladies how to set the table, where you have the plate, the silverware, the glasses on both sides, the napkins, and they're sitting there looking like, well, which one do I pick? So, and I teach them. I go over those skills, those etiquette skills. Like when we have the salad, we don't reach over. We pass it around, and they're sitting there like, well, who do I go? And, you know, those are the skills that I teach them, because I said, you don't know where you're going in life. I didn't know. I said, because you don't know, you need to prepare yourself now, because what if you are invited to the White House? Or what if you're invited to someone's palace and you sit at that table to eat with them? What do you grab, you know? So it's a life learned lesson for them, and they love it. And in return, the owner of the White Oak Cottage, they prepare a meal for me and the girls to come to learn those skills.
And you told me it was a 5-course meal.
5-course meal.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So they get to use everything. I remember, you know, it's always outside in.
Yep.
It's pretty much outside in, no matter what course is being served, outside in. You just keep working it. And the same thing for the glasses, right? Oh, I love that, Leah. That is so, because you're so right. You never know where you're going to end up in life.
Never.
And breaking bread with somebody is a fundamental thing that you do, right? I mean, it is fundamental connection when you break bread with somebody. And also, you don't know what's going on in their homes, how, like if they're sharing family, you know, that's, again, I grew up where you spent every Sunday at your grandmother's house, and everybody did in the family, and you had a meal together, right? And there was no, you know, you didn't have to wonder where you're going to be on Sunday, because that's where you're going to be, right? But it's not like that anymore.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. A lot of times families they don't have the time, or they're not sitting at the dinner table with one another.
Right.
So even with my young ladies on my college tours, I take them on college tours.
Ooh.
And when we're at the restaurant, your cell phone goes in your purse, or we have a stack on the table, and that's our time to eat and talk to one another.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Nothing makes me sadder. I know you see it too when you go into restaurants. Nothing makes me sadder than when I go into a restaurant and I see a family sitting at, you know, the table, the booth, whatever it is, and they're all like this.
Yes.
They're all on their phone. And sometimes they're texting each other.
Yep.
I'm like, seriously?
Yep.
I mean, it makes me sad.
Yes.
So I love that you do that.
Yeah, so that's, you know, even in our office, we have a no cell phone policy. So the moment that the girls come into our office, there's a basket. Once they step through the door, they drop that cell phone right there. The only time they're allowed to use their cell phones is if they receive a call, which is rarely. They don't, because parents are glad that they can't be on their cell phones. Or like if we're needing to scan a QR code or researching or something like that. But that's the only time that they're able to use their cell phones or to call for a ride.
Oh, you're a tough taskmaster, but I love that, right?
Yes,
because
ma'am.
that to me is another thing. I'm sure you found this too, and it's what you're trying to instill in them is self-discipline.
Yes.
Because there's so little of it today, right?
Very little.
Very little of it, right? But everything that you're doing in these programs with these girls from starting at 8 years old up is instilling not only self-discipline, but accountability and responsibility, right?
Yes.
I love that, Leah. That is so wonderful.
And even with our younger girls, the program itself, it's for both age groups. The only thing that's different are the sexual education.
Right.
Because even our younger girls, we take them on a college tour once a year. And then the 13 and older, we take them on multiple college tours throughout the year.
And is that in the state of Florida here?
Last year, we partnered with another organization, Distinctively His in Texas, which is my brother and sister-in-law that they run. They mentor kids as well. And we flew into Dallas, Texas last year, 13 girls. We flew into Dallas, Texas, and we had the opportunity to get on those big buses. I get motion sickness. And the girls, I said, hey, ladies, I said, do you want to get on the bus? I said, it'll be 45 of females and one toilet. Or we can get our own van, and then when we're not at the college tour, we can go shopping and sightseeing. They said, let's get our own van. I said, perfect.
Yeah.
So we got a van, a 15-passenger van. We went to 6 colleges, 6 different states in 6 days.
Oh, that's amazing. Well,
Yes.
bravo for you.
Yeah.
I love that. So we only have a couple of minutes left.
Okay.
I know it goes fast. Everyone says the same thing. Oh my God, it went so fast. But I like to give all of my nonprofits an opportunity to look in their camera and take a minute or so,
Okay.
probably not more than that, and deliver whatever message that you want or appeal that you want.
Well, Girls of the World, we just, it's a program, a phenomenal program for our young ladies. They're learning skills that they are not getting in school. We're changing lives there. Generations are being changed. First generational college students, we're helping them get unemployment. I mean, not unemployment, I'm sorry. We're helping them get employment. So they're getting jobs. The skills that they're using are real life skills. And we just ask if you would just partner with us, go onto our website, check us out. Every dollar counts with this organization because it is being put back into the community, empowering our young girls in the community. So again, thank you all for tuning in to the channel and supporting Girls of the World, being a partner. We're always looking for volunteers as well to come and educate our young ladies, because I can't do it by myself. I've been trying, but I can't. So this is a window for everyone to come and be a partner of Girls of the World, Inc. and help the young ladies this generation. Thank you.
We'll make sure that we supply all of that information on all of our social media postings with how they can access your website and get a hold of you and whatnot. LEA Manningham, of Girls of the World, I cannot thank you enough for being my guest today on
you.
Connecting with Kim. So if you're just joining us now, that was my guest, and you need to go back and watch the whole interview, because this woman has been driven and supported by so many wonderful people, some of whom we both know,
Yes.
to fulfill her mission of Girls of the World. So that's all we have time for today on Connecting with Kim. Thank you for joining us here on Tampa Bay Arts and Education Network. I'm your host, Kim Droege, and come back next week for another great episode helping you live your best life in our corner of paradise here on Connecting with Kim. So long. Farewell.